I've done is I got the orange, they had clear turn signals on. I put the orange signals back in, or amber signals, which looks really good. And I've got a set of the correct design 90s over here. So those have to go back on. And then the goal in the next 6 months is to get, there's a company in France that makes a reproduction of the very hard to find factory hard tops. So
wow.
Get one of those. And
would it be paint matched, or would it just be black?
Oh no, it has to be paint matched. And then yeah, it's already lowered on H&Rs and Bilsteins. It's got a cup muff, there's a line of OEM plus performance parts called basically the cup, from the Porsche Cup series. It's a cup muffler and a like a cold air box, so it sounds pretty gnarly. I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, because I moved pretty fast on it, because again, bar none, it was the cheapest 964 out there, and I didn't see a whole lot wrong with it, and so far there hasn't been. It was a no sale on Bring a Trailer like 2 years ago, and the reason was, from a lot of folks, they felt the seller wasn't doing a great job. The seller was kind of absent, but the guy I bought the car from said he was in touch with them, and the guy he literally had like a death in the family and was out of the state, so he couldn't answer last minute questions. So he just the guy I bought it from just did all of his due diligence, and so I said the seller was great. Let him get compression numbers, do a leak down test, all that stuff, and got himself a very good deal on the car, because again, everybody in the listing just sort of clowned on him, the seller, for not being present as the auction wound down. So it turned out to be a very good car. It's got some good records with it that shows it was pretty well maintained throughout the early 2000s. And the guy I bought it from, he used it as a daily. He was a professor at a community college in Arkansas and drove it every single day. And the only reason he got rid of it was because he had lost apparently a very special Boxster due to an accident, and just had some very unique options, and a similar car came up for sale that he wanted to move on. So yeah, I just felt like they're never going to be cheaper. This is classic downward spot, down time in the market where it's hard to sell a sports car. But I mean, just this week, a Carrera 4 sold on BAT for 65,000, and then a Carrera 4 Targa was 259,000 miles, sold for over 50,000. So the fact that this car has zero rust, the paint is phenomenal. I don't know if it's been repainted, it might have been, but it's in really nice shape, and it drives really well. So it's just moving pieces. There might be something that sells that helps to pay it down a little bit, but at the same time, like, I just look at it like, even with the interest, I'm like, the car is appreciating enough that I'm still always going to be even with what I end up paying on it. It's like, as long as the value is increasing over the interest, I think it's fine, and that seems to be the case so far.
Well, there you go, dude.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But anyway, it's the air cooled is that is a real thing. Like, it makes a phenomenal noise. It's kind of hard not to get into that. It's just so mechanical.
Yeah, dude, that video you put up really sounds just like air is just being forced through at all times. You know what I mean? It really sounds like a race car. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I was I don't know. I keep coming back, like, the fact that a couple of years ago I just thought the whole Porsche thing was so overhyped, and unfortunately they really are. Unfortunately for me, I look like a hypocrite, because they really are very special cars. But anyhow,
that's awesome, dude. That thing is awesome.
How are you guys? How you guys been?
Good.
Same old stuff, man. Got a couple days off this week. Going to New Hampshire for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
They're giving me Friday off too, so it's like I got a couple days off in a row. I'm hyped about that.
How's
But yeah, things have been pretty normal.
how's activity been at the dealer?
Um, Dude, it's a dead time in the market.
Yeah.
Interest rate. No, everyone's flipped on their cars right now because of what happened in during COVID. So it's really crazy. Everyone who comes in is like $6,000 underneath. So all the payments are like, $100 to $150 higher than they should be. Because it's like, think about it, right? Say you bought an F-150 for 10 grand more than you should have. Now you come in 2 years later, things have dropped a lot. And you
Right.
paid 10K over sticker for it. It's like you might owe 55 on it, and we're offering you like 42. So
Yep.
it's hard for a lot of people.
Then do you see a lot of people just rolling that into the next car payment?
Yeah, and then the interest rate's like 12 or 13%, and it's just like, dude, you do the math on what they're paying in the 6-year loan, and it's crazy. It's definitely if you have cash right now, that's the best thing because the financing is just horrible. But I mean, you still get your sales in. But I would actually really want to tie that into today's stuff. I've seen some stuff on Bring a Trailer scrolling through where it's like, holy shit, dude, 50 grand, yeah, sign me right up, I'll buy it right now. I put a Porsche 997 turbo in there. There's an E30 M3, which I know we've done a bunch of, and then there's a 74 911, which just, I mean, we'll get into it, but I truly think right now, buyer's market, if you have the money, you're in a strong point because more people, people buying houses. People selling houses are having a hard time finding buyers. So, like you said, Jeff, definitely a horrible time to try to get someone to buy your sports car for a good price. It's not many people are willing to do that at the moment.
I was the whole last few weeks have been kind of surprising because the Eurovan sold, and that was helpful time. The Eurovan actually left the day the 964 showed up.
Nice.
And I got what I wanted out of it. It wasn't the asking price, but it was a strong offer, and I pulled some parts off of it that I then sold and made up the difference on.
Wheels?
No, I ended up leaving the wheels on, and the reason for that was, those wheels were cool, but at the end of the day, the company that makes them, Maxi-Lite, this shit's still made in China. I mean, it's not like,
wow, really? I almost got those instead of Euro Weaves because they make good reps, and I was like, fuck it, they look great. And I was like, nah, I want the original ones. But I almost did that. Are they trash? I've heard good things though.
No, I mean they're very nice. I honestly didn't have anything to complain about. I just, when I got them and like saw it on the box that the shit was made in China, I was just like, oh man, what a letdown. So I ended up, because what I was going to do is I was going to throw the speed lines from the S6 onto the Eurovan, but then I was like, wait a minute, the S6 is mostly original. I got the original wheels sitting over there, the full original exhaust. If somebody ever wanted to buy that car, I've got all the original parts. So I was like, you know what? If I want another set of those RS2 replicas, I can get it. Not a big deal. And plus, I was a little nervous that I'd go to put the speed lines on and they wouldn't clear the front brakes because it had the 996 brakes on.
Hey, yo. Wait, the Eurovan did?
Yeah.
Did that stop well then?
It stopped decent. It wasn't.
It is heavier than a 911.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, that thing was over 5,000 pounds. It wasn't.
It wasn't. So the sports car brakes turned kind of just into normal economy car brakes at that point. Yeah,
basically. But like that one, that took a while for it to sell. But when the guy who bought it came and saw it, it was like instantaneous. He had a plan in place. He was there 2 days later to buy it. He actually drove down from near my hometown, New York. And then
that's a hard thing to sell, though.
Well, it was
just
interesting.
Like your buyer's pool is kind of small.
Yeah, it's niche the product.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the buyer's pool on that is the people who they're the big following for Eurovans, but most of them are total European car novices. They don't this is the first time they're buying. Literally one of the people who local customer, whatever, came by was this retired couple that wanted to pull it behind their RV. And I just was like, this is a horrible choice for you.
You said that?
I almost did. I wanted to make sure the other guy was going to follow through before I completely turned them off. But but yeah, like they loved it. They had been calling me for weeks and all this stuff. And I just was like, man alive, this is not a good choice for you, for someone in your lifestyle.
Did you end up saying that after all?
No, I never had to because I never saw him again. Like the guy came and bought it the next day after I met them. And so it was, it was done and done. But
oh my God, that's so funny, dude.
That's weird. Toby.
I love one. Isn't that such a weird feeling, Jeff? Like, oh, I know the exact feeling. Like someone will come and be like, I'm looking for this truck to do this with it. And in my head, I'm like,
right.
Like, are you sure you want to fucking do that? But it's like, yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Well, it's like the Dakota that you saw in town. When I sold that Dakota to that guy who was like commuting back and forth to Connecticut, I just was like, this is a bad choice.
I know, but people are, it's, if you don't do it, someone else will.
There's a but for every seat.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if they're going to be making stupid decisions, you're not going to be the one that saves them from a life of doing dumb. It's like they're going to do what the fuck they're going to do.
Right. Exactly.
Don't swindle them into but it's like if they come to you like, this is what I want, it's like, yeah, it's not really my job to tell you no.
Right.
Respectfully, of course. Of course.
Oh yeah. No, you're not going to be a prick about it, but yeah. So I just thought it's kind of funny because like when I see like really oddball stuff like that still sells, it's like, okay, well, there's still people out there with money to spend. It's not that they're not, but if you only live in a universe of like, well, I need to buy a new whatever bullshit crossover, then yeah, I would not want to be you right now.
It's also like there's so many people. Like I say, oh, I'm surprised it sold, but it's also like there's so many people. Like think about it, there's like 350 million people in the country. It just takes one singular person to be like, yep, that's a good deal. It just takes one single guy. So yeah,
I mean, Lars, you probably experienced this too. Is like there's that oddball car in the dealership that you're like that the order guy somehow screwed up or it's like, what is it doing? And then eventually it goes.
Yes, and it's like some guy was loud and looking for just this with the 8-foot bed. Like it's like no one wanted that, but you're right, and he'll come down from New Hampshire or from Massachusetts, whatever. Yeah, that's the thing. It just takes one. You just need one person to be interested in it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not surprised it sold then for a good price. But if you're saying like selling like a 2-wheel drive 911 coupe, low miles, whatever, right? Something like that. It's like there's so many people that would be like, yes.
Right.
Whereas a Eurovan, it's like,
well, and that's what's crazy that it was the guy who bought it wasn't even an enthusiast. He runs he installs chairlifts in people's houses, and he's going to use it as a work fan.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wait until he has to fucking replace the drive shaft. Oh, he'll be waiting on that part from Berlin for 5 weeks.
I know. I thought it was so crazy, and I mean, the other thing that blew my mind was that like a flaw of that conversion is the traction control light is illuminated and the ABS light is illuminated because both systems are rendered defunct, and he didn't care about that. Like I know in Rhode Island, if you've got a traction or an ABS light on, you don't pass inspection. So I thought New York would be equally stringent, but he was not.
Oh, he probably knows a guy in the city though.
Yeah.
I think you can definitely find. I feel like stuff like that you can still get it inspected.
Well, like even my mechanic in Rhode Island, he said like if I have to inspect it, I'm just going to I'll just aim the camera just above the light on the cluster so that I'll just say it was a crappy picture. So I mean, yeah, there's always ways around it. I just thought he'd be more annoyed by it. But yeah,
a work van, bro, dude, work vans. That's not a good idea in my opinion either.
Yeah,
they sit in the traffic. They're just crawling along. You're banging stuff in and out of them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's in where I grew up, which is a pretty it's 120 miles north of the city, so it's not awful traffic. And I imagine
maybe not then.
I think he's just going to older adults' homes and putting in the sliding chair thing on the handrail. So I doubt he's doing more than one of those a day. I just thought it was so funny that for everybody who jumped on that thing when I posted it, and they're like, "Oh man, the manual swap, blah blah blah." Like, not a single like, enthusiast actually came and looked at it. Like, it's so funny to me. Like, I find the community to be so goofy. Like, it's one of the most undependable groups of people you could ever meet. Because that should have been like an enthusiast dream vehicle. Like, whether you were a Eurovan person or not, like, what a great trackside support vehicle. What a great,
that would be a sick track, or like one of those rally. They have like the overcrest, the rally support vehicles with like the food and the water and the extra oil and all that shit. That would be a cool thing to have.
I know. I really thought that was going to be its future life, was something like that.
Fun support vehicle.
Instead, it's going to go install chairlifts. I mean, I could not have ever. I mean, that was not on my bingo card.
Strange.
Well, very, very interesting. It's cool stuff, though.
Yeah.
You put some cash in your pocket and took it right out. I like that.
Yeah, but I got, man alive, my daughter was she was not happy with me. She was like, I mean, that was so sad. Like, I thought she was pretending to cry, and I was just like, oh, then I realized, no, she's actually bawling her eyes out. Yeah, I felt like, you want to feel like an absolute piece of excrement. That's a great, like, literally too, where I'm like, oh, here's my new toy that no one else can ride in. This is great.
You know what, though?
When she's 16, she's going to be happy this is here.
Yeah, no kidding. She's going to be.
Is she going to rip that thing?
Lou is my special girl. She's going to get whatever she wants.
Oh.
Yeah. And she already knows it. So.
Oh, yeah, she does. She can do no wrong.
Oh,
that's funny, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, it's good to catch up with you guys. It's been a
Jeff,
long
you know what's cool about those last comment? I was doing some research. The 4-wheel drive models, this is a great little silver lining. It's not variable 4-wheel drive, which is great. It's not dicking around. It is 100% of the time 70-30 rear front. So it's almost like a all-wheel drive sport mode. Like, it's always rear bias. I like that. I bet that thing would be stupid in the snow. Not that you'd probably ever going to take it in the snow, and I wouldn't either with the salt. Just fucking destroy the thing.
Yeah, it would
destroy it. It would destroy it in 2 seasons. That thing would be trashed. It's so unfortunate. Same with the E30.
Yeah.
But I bet that thing, like, in its day, if you were buying it to commute in your rich dog or whatever,
too much fun.
Thing probably ripped in the snow.
So, that was one of my big questions for the guy. I just said, hey, listen, I'll tell you, I'm not a Porsche expert. I just know that if I were to Google this right now, there's going to be legions of people saying, oh, the steering is numb, or there's drivetrain power loss, or whatever it was. And he was like, Jeff, I got to tell you, I don't know how you use your cars, but for me, there's nothing that I would do with it that ever makes me think that I am somehow missing out or, being lied to by the car. He said he said it's phenomenally that and he said it just grips and grips and grips and grips some more. He said, I think you're going to be really happy with it. And then the more I read, it's like a lot of guys, you kind of get past that initial typical Porsche hyperbole, and like, guys just say, well, listen, if you're driving 11/10 on the track all the time, you might notice if you get into a 2 after a 4, you might say, okay, there's a little bit more, there's a little bit less feeling in the steering, or, there's something that's 0.5% different. But most folks were like, but you're really not going to notice that if you're just driving the car spiritedly on a back road on a Sunday. And knock on wood, I mean, that's been my, like, getting in, it just feels tight. Like, it just feels very responsive. I wouldn't have, known that it was 4-wheel drive versus 2-wheel drive. So I think there's so much out there where people just love to pile on to a talking point just to feel relevant or to feel like they got a valid opinion, that it's just one more of those things. That it's just like with the 996. I mean, if you read anything about a 996, you're like, oh, you shouldn't buy this car because the IMS bearing is going to blow up. And large, that. I was petrified of the thing. And then like, then it's 6 months later and you realize you've been driving it every day for a week, and you're just parking it like it's a commuter. I mean, it's crazy. I wonder how many people just trade these things in or spend needlessly on like an engine rebuild or reseal because they just get attacked by the paranoia that they see online. And so it's really unfortunate, but again, things could always change in the blink of an eye, but for right now,
well, yeah, you always hear about the bad stuff too. You're not going to hear about the guy who just drove it every day, sold it with 120,000 miles, never had an issue. You're not really going to hear about that.
Nope.
But you will hear about the guy who, changed all.
You always can hear the horror stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's that 964 Targa that sold. I'm bringing a trailer, had 250,000 miles on it, and it was this old couple in like the deep wilderness of Northwest Oregon. They were just like, we just driven it every day for the last 30 years.
Wait, where was that on? Dude, that's so cool. That's the coolest story. And that's like, it's cool because that's the only car they could do it in.
You gotta look on, it's on Bring a Trailer. If you search for 964 Targa, it sold like 3 days ago. And it was like, the best part was, and John, you might even know the driver. It was a company car for some famous F1 driver. Okay. I didn't know him, but in any case, car had great.
If you can send a link, I can look it up.
It was Teo Fabi.
Oh yeah, Teo Fabi. Yeah, he raced IndyCar, raced F1. Oh, it must have been. Oh, he was a factory Porsche IndyCar guy.
IndyCar guy, exactly. Yeah.
So it's probably like an 89, 90.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's when. Yeah, because they had it was like a 2-year program, and I think he drove it 1 year.
So, yeah, this thing was just what a great car. But for a minute, I was kind of like, oh, I should have waited for this. Then the thing went for 55K. I was like, yeah, never mind. But I mean, it's rough. It's got rust. It's beat up. It's got bed liner on the hood.
The Target is nice though, huh?
This is the best. This is the best.
What's the benefit? It's just like the structural is a little bit better. Like it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's probably marginal given this is 1990s we're talking about, but it's just more that the 964 is the chassis they made the fewest 911s of, like just in terms of total production volume. So you just every submodel you kind of keep reducing it by a certain percentage. So if the 964 was the 911 generation they made the fewest of, then imagine how few of them were Targas and how few of them were turbos and so on and so forth. So
and now they're all being converted.
And Singer is buying up all of them. And so like you're taking an already extinguished supply and just depleting it entirely. So
because they take a fresh one and knowing them, they take a fucking mint one with 40K miles.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
That's what they do. Whenever they do those builds, like there's this rapper who took from Enthusiast Auto Group, he took like a 20K mile E30 M3, mint, one owner, and they drilled in all like these rally lights and they stripped paint.
No.
Yeah, for a music video. And now the car just sits. But you're right, like these people with the money, and it's like, I want the coolest version. They take a fucking mint example, take out the engine, whatever. Yeah. It's, there's not many of them left.
No. Hey Lars, do you want to kick us off tonight and share some amazing finds that we can
let's get started on this. All right.
Hey Lars, I've never asked you who is the guy in the painting in your basement?
It's Bono. Who is it? I'm pretty sure it's Bono.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It's Bono, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Bono. My dad wanted a company meeting or a company it was like a what do you call them? Like a company outing. There's like a raffle or some shit.
Is it worth something?
Maybe like $1,000.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of cool, Bono.
It is cool.
When I look at it quickly, I always think it's the dude from Big Lebowski. I'm just like, oh, that's
I did the real quick side note. I did the I changed my oil today and I took a sample to send into that lab.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be cool to see what they say.
Blackstone or someone else?
Yeah, Blackstone, almost 300K on that piece, and it was like that oil was a little overdue, so that's going to be that's going to be a good test subject. That was some used oil, but yeah,
they did the 996 analysis, and
what they say?
That was actually they literally said, like, for an engine with this mileage, you cannot ask for a better report. So
yeah, I would drive the piss out of that thing. I drive the piss out of that thing.
All right, you gonna share with everyone, or you got?
Yeah, you both have access to share the screen.
Oh, boop. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Just get the let me just get the email pulled up, so I don't have to sift through this for 1 second.
Hey Lars, are your parents still here, or are they down in Mexico?
No, my mom's still here, but my dad's in Mexico, and we're all going down for Christmas, which I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to do. It's good. You know what it is? Because it's a shithole here in the winter, and I get to go down and get some sun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love like just being on the beach and sun, all that shit. All right, let me share here.
All right.
Can you guys see the screen?
I can see your email. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, what I chose a few cars tonight. They're all very cliche, and a couple of them we've probably done before. E30 M3, 997 turbo, and an older 911. The kind of thing I wanted to highlight this week for these finds is you're starting to see some really, really attractive deals. And some of these cars that you've been seeing sell for like 120, 130, I feel like they're creeping down into the lower under the six-figure range. So buyers beware, because it's a great time to keep your eye out for some finds. Kicking off with this one. I initially saw this listing and I figured, immediately scroll down to this. No accidents. I don't see anywhere of anyone talking about any stories with the vehicle. Seems like a really, really clean car. 6-speed, under 50K miles on this thing. Most of you guys know these are really reliable, and they're just rocket ships from the factory. If you have the urge to, you can tune them pretty safely and reliably. But I just feel like with the way things have been going, I've even seen some 996s, 996 turbos sell in this price range. And it kind of just gives you the feeling of like, you know what, I missed the boat on these. It's too late. Never be able to afford one, because by the time I have the money, they're going to be, well into the six figures. But seeing these listings here, I mean, this is a prime example. It sold for 90K. Very, very low mileage, and it has the stick. It's a great spec. Looks like it has the carbon ceramics on there too. Yeah, I honestly thought this was a great buy. And if you're looking for something that wasn't a brand new car under the $100,000 range, I mean, this is junk steering wheel. But besides that, I think you'd be hard pressed to find something cooler. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this. Someone might be like, you're so far off, Larson, but I'm pretty sure if you want to get into like a new Boxster or a new Cayman, even just a mid-level one, I think you're probably well into the six figures, 110, 120, 130 for this one.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And with these, the argument of, well, you got to spend a lot to maintain them. I don't know if I buy that. You put 8,000 miles a year on this thing, I don't think it would be that expensive. I really don't. And it's 5-10 years time, I think this is going to be starting to look like a classic. I mean, just the body line, the shapes, spec is classy. That's a nice car for 90K.
Yeah, that is.
A new one's 240, 250.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. That'll be my final comment on it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Lars. 997 return to form. This one does have some mods, tastefully modified. I think it has an access port, custom exhaust. Nothing too wild and over the top, but I mean, as you mentioned, if you're looking at a Cayman or something like that, you're looking at the six figures. You're getting this for 90K. It's a 36,000 miles 6-speed. I mean, this is a great deal. If you're in the market for a Porsche, and you're not married to getting a brand new something or other, and you have the money, you go for it.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. Nice car.
Yeah, great color. Yeah, and it's the nine. I mean, I'm not the biggest 996 fan. Sorry, Jeff. It's the fried egg lights don't do it for me. But this is the return to form with the lights.
He's an air cooled guy now anyway. It doesn't affect him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh,
No, I mean, I tell you, I keep getting sweeter on that 996 because it's like an E30 M3. It just, I mean, you literally can just drive 911 every day. But so this has the same appeal. I think there's no way this is not a phenomenal buy. The the question I have about these, and again, this doesn't change the fact that you cannot beat the discount this guy got for waiting a few years to buy one, is what I don't know if you can count on the future desirability. Are you ever going to lose your 90K? No, absolutely not. But I'm really curious how the future collectors will view this car. Now I think the 996 turbo is an app, like, this is a good deal. The 996 turbo is an absolute bargain right now. Those are selling for 45, 50K.
And I love those, by the way. I think the 996 turbo is a sharp car.
It is. It's a great looking car.
Sharp.
Hey, do you guys think kind of the turbo models are unloved now? Because now we're looking, all the love is either at the GT3s or other specs, and the turbo kind of sits there in this place that's like.
Well, that's a good point, because a 997 GT3 now is like $250,000. Right. And a 997 GT3 RS is like 400, 500. It's fucking crazy. Okay, it's not 500,000, but it's probably 350, 400 for a 997 GT3 RS. So that's a really good point. That's a really great point.
I think some of the magic is gone for sure
from the turbo.
Look at that. 300.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff, I cut you off.
No, so Lars, I don't know if you had a chance to watch. I sent Lars a video a few days ago about this guy looking at the UK market as it related to high-end Porsches, and his point was he was tracking a lot of sellers beginning to discount their cars, and it was kind of crazy for how, like, what seems different about this era of 911 is people were trying really hard to use them as commodities. And I don't think the earlier turbos, like from the 993 and the 964 and the 930 generations, were seen for that, right? I think they were seen as, you just wanted the biggest, baddest 911. Yeah. And now people are buying these, like, they're just like, Porsches they've evolved from being purely an enthusiast brand to now also being a housewife's brand, where it's just like, give me the most expensive one on the lot.
Yeah.
And so
that's a good point.
And so they've made, now you can get a turbo with an automatic, a PDK, whatever. They've made it very easy to drive a supercar, even if you don't have that kind of background or that experience. So, I mean, I think to the enthusiast world, I would say, buy these cars now while they're still young, while they haven't been completely neglected. But I agree with you, John. The turbo is living in a weird place these days. And for anyone who's ever wanted to own a turbocharged 911, it's a great time to buy one. But I also I'm just curious, what, 10 years from now, what we'll think of these cars. I just don't see the same level of obsession that you see over like a 993 GT2. When one of those comes up for sale, people are like, oh my God, I will do anything to own that car, because there's like 10 of them. Whereas the dealer allocations for the top spec 911s has seemingly been so generous that it's not hard to get into one of these high performance 911s anymore. So I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what becomes of these cars in 10, 20 years in terms of their values.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, I don't think the buyer's going to take a bath, but is this almost like a high water, like not a high watermark, but like a high point where maybe these slip down to 70K or so?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be like kind of a stable. You're not going to see explosive growth in value. it's not gonna, like, I mean, the 993, that's just gonna go up and up and up and up and up.
I mean, there's another one, dude. It's cheap. I don't know how many miles it has, but if I go back, yeah, I would like to go back like a year, but I'm not going to scroll all the way down now. But I really feel like these things were selling for over 100 at one point, pretty consistently. I won't go back to COVID times, but that is just like this one in 2021, same year, non-S, just a turbo, same year, 6-speed, a little less miles, 15K versus 30K, but that sold for almost 140.
Right.
141, same mileage, same year. That's 2 years ago. So I definitely think it's coming down, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And Lars, I think
that's brand new though, 3,600 miles.
Yeah. But Lars, I think it points to, what I believe, which is that the desirability factor has it deflated significantly.
20 grand.
Now, what 997? That makes no sense to me.
That's the stupidest shit ever. There's the 996 GT3 seats are like 25 grand as well. It's like, bro, you got me lost on that. Yeah. But I mean, hey man, if you're the guy with the money,
I guess.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yeah, well, let's switch over to the next one. The Euro 996 GT3 seats are very cool though. But yeah, Porsches are awesome. Everyone knows that.
Oh, those are sick.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, they don't sell for that much. I thought they sold for a lot more. But isn't that such a crazy design?
It is.
That is.
Oh my god! It looks like elevators or something.
Yeah, it looks like the Punisher.
It does. I was just saying that it does look like the Punisher.
Yeah, it's freaking okay. All right.
Don't hassle the castle.
Where is my?
There you go.
I'm sorry, guys. We keep throwing these around, but
more M3 porn.
At one point, I would love to have one. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, to be totally honest with you. And there was definitely a point where I figured I never would because they were all selling for, in the 6-figure neighborhood. But this is just another example of something that's come down so dramatically in price. It's actually sold for 50K in 2020, which is kind of surprising too.
What's
that was what's 4 years ago now?
I mean, 147,000 miles on it.
Yep. Which, I mean, I guess the mileage on an M3 is kind of important. But I just am starting to see these. I kind of want to just highlight the fact I'm starting to see these closer to like the mid 50 range, which seems a little bit more reasonable. I almost still feel like it's kind of expensive for what you're getting, but there's a lot of history involved, so I can justify it. But they're definitely creeping down a little bit. And even just the comments, all of these auctions have very similar comments, and I love reading stuff like this.
I just saw that.
Time for drivers to start lining up. Looks like all the investors have moved on. Well, we start seeing these on the road again. It's like, dude, and they said the same thing on the 997. Great time for a driver to, get into one of these vehicles and actually use it instead of holding it as an investment.
Right.
Love seeing that. Love the direction it's going. That these things aren't being used as little pawns in your garage now, where you take a picture of it and you flex on everyone. And it's all sealed up. I got everything sealed up for storage, or it's never going to be driven. I hated that. Just using them as a place for people to park their money. If they keep coming down in price, people are going to buy them to drive them. That's what I would love to do one day. And it's really actually exciting to see that they're starting to be a little bit more reasonable.
Lars, it's interesting. I've had something kind of replaying in my head lately, which is this neighbor I've got who I thought was going to be like my buddy, right?
The 930 turbo guy?
It's a 964 turbo. And he's got a 356 Cabrio. And a couple other things. And I realized, I talked to him the first community party, whatever, on Labor Day weekend. And the guy talked to me for 40 minutes about everything he had and didn't ask me a single question. And I've not spoken to him since. And I see him,
I hate that one-sided conversations. I could just never.
Well, and I'm here a lot, and I see him drive by, and I see him staring inside. I'm just like, dude, I would love to just shoot. But my point in bringing this up is, that's kind of like listen, I don't want to have a 20-minute conversation with every gearhead I meet. No way. But like, I do like just a pleasant exchange of like, hey, you got something cool, I got something cool. We like the same thing. Great. And that to me was like one of the most telltale signs about when the stockbrokers came into the room is it's not even that they couldn't have it, they just didn't know how to have the conversation because they weren't really there for that. It was just one more thing to use as a chess piece. And I don't really have a big problem. I do think cars are useful. I think they're one of the better ways to have some fun and not lose your money. Mm-hmm. And I've tried really hard over the last few years to kind of refine things down to vehicles that I feel pretty confident will appreciate. So I don't have any objection to that. But to your point, when cars like this, when people were paying such ridiculous sums for them, just as a means of like saying, well, because I did it, or you couldn't catch me, so I spent more. That's just the worst part of the hobby. And I'm very glad to see, like, I have no problem if true enthusiasts want to bid things up to create higher values that we all benefit from. I have no issue with that, but not enthusiasts who don't know what they're doing.
The flexing has left the room. You had, going off what you said, Jeff, you had a lot of people who had the money but weren't car people, but did the research and were told, oh, this is the coolest thing to have. And that's why you saw like a 1 in front of a number like this previously.
Well, Lars, look up a car real quick and we'll come back to this. Just because this is live, just do 964 in the search bar and then choose the non-turbo. So like this to me, and go down, it was a recent no sale. Okay, that red cab right there, that 33,000 mile. Okay. So I mean, you could not write this one better. And you guys will love this. So where was it? It was in like North
Connecticut.
It's Connecticut.
So it's in Southport. They got the Montana plates on it. If you look at the video, it's got the very well-dressed suburbanite female doing the test drive.
And let's see how many miles the seller added.
Well, they added next to nothing. They paid $70,000 for it. Well, look at the last sale. Look at it when it sold, where it said it's the bad thing where it says previously sold.
Yeah, you go.
You know what? Okay. Screw then, honestly.
Wow.
Well, and see, they were not engaged in the auction. Everybody's like, where are you? Like, where is the seller? They spent all this money.
Dude, you can't flip a car, dude. That's dumb. You flip a car you find from freaking Pappy, you knock on his door. You don't buy it off bring trailer, let it sit.
You're not. Yeah, unless you're.
But to me,
unless it's something really bizarre, really out there.
Like really you somehow got it for a good deal. Go ahead, Jeff.
But this is the epitome of the stupid, moronic money. People with more money than brains who come into the room, they fuck everything up. I know. It gets no better than this. It gets no
my God!
They
bought it for Instagram. No, I can't say that. That's messed up.
She's got a crazy. I know. I want to find her Instagram page. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm so glad you people are leaving in droves. Like, you're just the worst of the worst.
It's like, they didn't buy it because they liked it. They bought it. It was a vibe.
Yeah, it was
yes.
This car is such a vibe. It's like 80s vintage.
It was a fashion accessory.
It's the same people who will trash like a Verbo because like the lilacs didn't compliment their photo gallery on Insta. Like,
I mean, it's mint. It is mint. Damn, 57, bro. No one wanted it. That's crazy.
But look at the comments. Everyone's like, "Where is the seller? Like, we're not going to buy this."
Oh, there he is. Speaking of comments.
Oh, look at that. So that's funny. That didn't actually...
the guy throwing bombs.
Seller's silent during the auction. A fair final.
Hey, good for you, brother.
Yeah, because they were probably moved on to the next one. Didn't care.
So what's funny is I didn't know that comment posted. I watched that screen and it said in review, and then like it refreshed and the comment was gone. They must have gone back and let it slide. That's interesting.
Jeff's like 12th like BAT.
This is my
handle
boy.
has
See,
been
everyone,
banned.
dude, all the smart guys.
Negative 12.
Negative. Just 0 for 12 on BAT handles.
Well,
This
they
guy's
banned
G.
my left.
I know. Yeah, there's
They're
some
pissed.
some people throwing this.
But here's
I
the
will
thing.
say this: they presented it well too, which is surprising.
I know.
That. Like it's so
But
well
this
presented.
this is classic more money than anything else thinking. Like, we're gonna do all this work and I gotta sit in the comments and answer questions. Like,
I'm
that's
enthusiast.
exactly.
Oh,
like
you were jacked up about this, huh, Jeff?
well, I'm like, come on. And it's like it should have sold for it
It's
should have
like,
sold.
yeah, I couldn't even pay the sales tax. I'm not paying sales tax on it. I'm not going to register it. I'm not keeping it for long.
Right. And they'll tell everybody that they're so fucking smart because they got an LLC in Montana. It's like, okay, everyone knows that trick. You're not a genius. And it's just like it should have been a 7. Like, there's another 964 that sold like 2 days later for 65,000. And this car should have been better than that because it had half the miles. That purple one. So
That
it's a
might be rare
4.
color, though. Is it ruby?
It's a good color, but everyone knows the seller.
But that's a well presented sale.
But here's the I just mean it's classic. Yeah. It's classic big money thinking. To be like, oh, I don't want to be bothered to sit in a comment and answer a question. Yeah. Like, well, then screw you. I hope your car never sells. Be drive into the ocean.
Hope you take a bath on it.
Oh man, and it's, you know what it's like? It's like I'm not going to shit too hard, but it's almost like these people have this plan of like, well, we're going to buy it, we're going to rip it around, get some photos, and we're going to sell it again on Bring a Trailer. And then it doesn't sell on Bring a Trailer, and they're like, oh, you can relist it in 6 months, and the people are like, now what? And
Lars, I will bet $500 if someone found that woman, like went down to a little Southport there at a little coffee shop. Like, hey, did this little, petite brunette, did she come in here talk about Bring a Trailer one day, how she's going to sell her car in there? Guarantee you she did.
Yeah.
Guarantee you she did.
On a side note,
no.
$1 million. All right, we'll get off this. We'll do this one next week. Holy shit.
Yeah.
$1 million.
He's still my beating heart.
Wow.
All right, let's go back to the E30 M3.
Yeah, let's get back to the E30.
So real quick, I'll be short and sweet on E30. Hey, I agree with you, Lars. I think it's good. I think these things are always supposed to be a $50,000 to $60,000 car max. I mean, not max. I think really special ones with low mileage deserve more money. They are seriously cool cars. They are very limited production. They are a track car for the street, and they do represent an era we're not going to go back to anytime soon. So, there's so many things you can say about these. I think this one just, it just spooked the purist a bit. Those painted valve covers, whatever. But I'm sure the purist didn't like it. I saw the
seats. That's so crazy, isn't it?
It's a little weird.
You can see on the littlest things.
The aftermarket strut bar, the seats look a little bit tired, just some creases, wear creases, things like that. But again, it's been driven. It's got, how many miles are on this?
150.
Yeah, so it's the driver, and I honestly think it wouldn't have been insulting for it to sell for 50. But again, compared to 3 years ago, where this would have been $100,000 car, this
100 is like, now you're starting to be like 100.
Like low mileage Evo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be that. Evo. It's got to be that now.
But yeah, I think 50K. I think that's a good number. I mean, come on now. These things sell. Non-Evo selling for 100 was pretty.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, can you even drive it? Can you even like genuinely drive it and like be able to slide it a little bit in second gear and like pull on the sand?
I would drive. Yeah, I would drive that car.
Yeah. No, I'm saying at 100K. That kind of starts to ruin it. But 50K, hell yeah, you can drive it.
Yeah.
I'll get it resprayed next decade, little things like that, but just changes who buys them. 50K versus 100. It just totally changes the profile of who's buying.
Well, and I also would feel way better about, the maintenance going forward, that whoever's buying it now is going to actually be sensible and proactively maintain it.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you, brother. Hopefully one day. It's a great looking car though. I just fixated on it. Can't see the damn email. Oh, here it is. This last one, I don't know. It's kind of like what I think happened here, and then Jeff, I'll actually probably let you go first on this, but I just want to say what I think happened. I think everything is so sensitive with these cars in terms of matching numbers, original engine, original transmission, original paint, original fenders. This one's like, I don't think anything's original. I think it's repainted. It has the 930 wide body, turbo wide body. It's not a turbo. It has the duckbill, which was not factory in this car, and it had a replacement engine.
Yeah.
So it's like every enthusiast is immediately like, no, 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 no. But I think for all intents and purposes, it would drive just the same. I think it looks sick with the wide body. I know it's not a turbo, but shit, it looks sick. The duck fin, cool enough.
The duck fin, it looks, the wide body and the duck fin just don't go well together.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the rear end almost makes it look like a cheesy, like replica type car. But for 57, isn't that, you could probably, the engine was replaced. So that's a bad thing, I guess. But really, it's actually a good thing because it's a replaced engine. So you could drive the piss out of this thing. Get your 1974 air-cooled experience. Paint chips, whatever. Leave it in the rain for a night. 57K.
I think they still pay too much.
Yeah, why? I'm leaning a little bit.
Totally not original.
I just don't really like the execution. Makes me uneasy.
It's kind of a mishmash.
Yeah, it definitely looks a little cheesy. Like this, especially, it definitely looks a little cheesy.
And go to the front. They go to the front shot.
I think the front looks cool right there.
Oh, yeah, but they filled in the bumper, which I hate.
Yeah, this is not the right bumper, huh?
Well,
yeah,
and
that's
no,
narrow.
Below the black strip, that's supposed to be open grates there. They filled that in with probably Bondo or something, and I don't like the way that ever looks. Now, I mean, if this thing
I don't know much about this.
If this thing was a wreck, great, and they just did a person. I guess my thing is, if I were buying it, I'd want to be really clear in my head about what I saw the point of it, which, to your point, Lars, was if you just wanted a driver. But if the issue is, I think you're going to have, this was such a personal buy, because whenever you buy a modified car, you're basically saying, I agree with what the seller did. And I think it's always harder when you go to sell to hope that somebody else agrees with you. Now, that being said, I think it's maybe a few steps away from being a cooler car. If you get rid of the duckbill, there's something about the stance that just looks off to me. So
why is everyone saying it needs a new engine and suspension? Well, I don't see anything I'm saying about what's wrong with the engine.
Well, the engine, I mean, the other thing too, so they put a 2.7 back in. I mean, I would have put in a 3. If I was replacing the engine, I would look for a 3-liter motor, which would have been a really nice upgrade. So I guess it's such a weird assortment of modification that I don't really know what to think about it, because it leaves me with questions about, well, what were they, kind of what was the plan here? Because it almost starts to feel like, well, we use what we had around the shop.
It's like a shop car kind of.
Or yeah, it's like this.
We just
had
threw extra parts that we had, and
I'm sure that's not what actually happened, but that's the vibe I get from it.
I just thought these were so expensive. See, here's the thing. I don't know. I know there's certain models that trump others in terms of how much expensive they are.
They are expensive when they're original.
Yeah. Okay. So because this has been hacked up.
Yeah, like you would call this a long hood 911, which is arguably one of the most desirable air-cooled Porsches out there. And I mean, however this gentleman got this car, I would not have proceeded down this path to modify it. Now, he may have already, listen, the whole 930 rear fenders thing, that was a big deal in the 80s. So this car may have had that since like 85, and in which case it's no fault of his own, but I hope he didn't install that like the last 5 years, because that was a misstep in my opinion. The filled in front.
The more I look at it, the less I like it. Now that you're saying all this stuff.
This kind of reminds me, like we've had. Remember we did a bunch of those like Ferraris that were like
Oh yeah,
and mishmash cars. This kind of feels the same way, like with that.
Yeah, you're right, dude.
Is
You're
that
right.
like it's not all like it? There's as we talked about earlier. There's like one
yeah.
person for this car.
Hey yo,
Yeah,
Even look at even the wheels, like the rear. Like as much as those are staggered wheels and tires, the rear wheels are still too small for
that's
or
probably
the
so hard to find the offset for that freaking fender, dude.
oh, I'm sure, but I mean, you got to do it right. You got
Yeah,
to
no,
get
I'm
the
not saying relieve him of messing it up. I'm just saying in general, like, yeah, that you got to get that perfect. You can't just throw something on there.
So this sold in 20 for 38,000, which to me,
Now that's a good. Now can't tell me that's not a good number.
no, that's a fair deal.
no, that's a good deal.
Fair.
And just scanning through the comments, the guy that sold it was trying to buy it back in this recent auction.
Oh, really?
Like,
Yeah,
I feel like it still is like a 2,400-pound light little old 911 at the end of the day, and it has all that magic. It might have some bullshit on it, whatever, but I just feel like if that's the experience you're. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he had this thing all taken apart, huh?
it's
I bet it's fun though, man. For 40K, I don't know. I could have a hard time finding something that's more fun. I think
Right.
probably
right.
a ton
Yeah,
of fun.
it's but
Lots
for
of
what it
thumbs
went
up.
for, it's just for what it went for now. It's just, and it's very limited. It's a very limited buyer market for this thing. Did you have a slant nose on it at one point? Oh my
Whoa!
god!
Oh, wow.
So he
Oh,
just did this.
jeez.
So this is a picture from the last decade at least. So
This thing
all.
this thing has been through all types of cosmetics.
Yeah.
It's got the turbo tail and a slant nose. Oh,
Yeah, maybe
Actually,
this thing was
oh,
someone. This is
the
not
turbo tail actually works really well on it.
it does, but
because it has the fenders.
Yeah.
the slant
Wow,
nose.
that's menacing though.
See, that right there is 10,000 times better. They should go back to that.
Oh, that slant nose looks really rough.
I will say, for some reason, the turbo fenders don't bother me, but I feel like this, because they initially put this here for the radiator fans, so I almost don't like this on it.
I like that. I'm totally down with that. It's the front on that.
I guess. No, you're right. She's a Frankenstein build.
So she's had.
It would have been good, but yeah, I guess you guys are right. For like 57, 58, that's kind of OP.
I think it's a lot of money for a car that's going to be very hard to. And now, unless someone's got a real long-term plan to slowly return it back to what it was.
Or you make this some like track monster.
It still kind of has that halo effect of it's like a.
That's the only way I can see it like kind of working, but it's if you turn to some track animal.
Yeah, I could see that, John. I could see that, but I mean, I look at that, I'm like, that's such a better looking car.
Yeah, it is. That's a lot better looking car.
Yeah, seriously.
As much as we love the turbo fenders, I mean, there was a 996 that sold this week for a good number, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's the last of the narrow body 996." It was an early car, and that's a very real thing with Porsche too. They like the narrow bodies if it's not a turbo. So, this is kind of an odd duck because it's not a turbo, it's a 2.7, and it's got the ridiculous turbo fenders on it. So
it was like they were trying to do like a Carrera RS with this thing has been all different things. It went from like a Carrera RS to a 930 to a 930 slant nose. This poor car has been all over the place.
Yeah. It has seen
a lot of hands. I wonder how many owners it's had.
For some reason, I like it less than this current iteration. I think I liked it better when it wasn't so shiny.
Yeah,
isn't it funny how the old pictures actually are?
Yeah, like to me, this is how
like
this car
that looks sick.
Like that, yeah. There's a.
That's how this car should look. It's a grimy,
and then
ratty.
It's a totally different car. It's like a totally.
That will smoke you on the street.
Can you go back to
the some Mulholland Drive like racer?
Oh, yeah.
And I love the photos he throws in of it on the street because it really just makes it look like Like, yeah, man, it's a cool freaking car.
Yeah.
You know, it still has presence like a mother effer. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, but for 40K, I guess it's more reasonable than for 58.
Yeah.
Still
But
though,
yeah, I mean, it's still probably when you look at where people were paying for basket case air cooled 911s 5 or 10 years ago. You know, I mean, people were selling literally legitimate wrecks.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like people were buying rusted out shells with no drivetrain, like 20 grand on an original. What do they call them? A G body?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so. It's, you know, you see people buy a shell for 20K that's totally rusted, and then you see this, and it's like, yeah, it's been totally molested, but it's like you freaking buy this thing, put in the key, and drive it.
Right.
And people are shitting on the engine. Okay, maybe it's not a great engine, but you can see in the pictures, like they have the transaxle open. If you replace the engine, all the mounts, all the bushings, all the hoses, all the accessories, I mean, it's probably a car that's ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
You probably put 30, 40K on this without really having to do much.
Right.
Still probably sounds like, you know, that.
Is there a video of this one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to. You guys can't hear it anyways. You can't hear anything, right?
No.
I can. Sounds sick though.
Oh, I bet.
It sounds sick. Air cooled cars are sick. But yeah. Ooh, that'll be for next week too. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Okay. All right, we'll get off it. But yeah, I mean, overall, which one would I take? Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think at the prices,
turbo.
Yeah,
I'm going turbo.
Yeah, this is my baby, but it's like that. I can't just say M3 every time. That turbo is solid.
You can, but that turbo is just.
Also, I actually like it's not even just like, yeah, I'd be okay with the spec. I like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, that rear end. Also, handicap driver. I hope he's ripping it with the 6-speed. Like, never let anything stop you, dude. I mean, I will say,
and those cars in Seoul look amazing.
So first thing I'd buy this thing before the car even got here. I'd have a new fucking steering wheel on my doorstep. 2-day shipping.
That is an awful steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that E30 M3 enough.
Yeah, this one actually doesn't stir me that much. I just wanted to use it as an example. It's clean, but yeah, I don't know. This one doesn't get me that jacked up. It's a beautiful car, but not over the turbo.
No,
that turbo's, I mean, and John, we have Jeff doesn't live here anymore, but we had a local guy. Guy lives in Wakefield in Rhode Island, dude. He has a 996 turbo. He bought it new from our local dealer. Still brings us some cars and coffees. Yes, I think 560,000 on it.
Been rebuilt once.
Yeah, been rebuilt once. 2 or 3 sets of suspension, like 4 sets of turbos. But it's like, dude, 500K original trans. So it's like, you know what, man, just fucking drive this thing.
The crazy thing was when they opened that car up, when they did the rebuild, they actually said it didn't really need a rebuild.
Yeah, but they're like, we're already in here. We'll just do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
damn,
that car could have kept running. I mean, 500,000 miles on a car that's running boost on a.
And you've never seen a 930 with 500K on it.
No. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think the turbo technology back then was really that great. I don't think they lasted that long. Turbos.
I think you'd kill yourself driving it before you got to that far.
Yeah, you'd end up dead before you could put all those miles on. Man, I would love to drive one of those. But this thing, I mean, this is like you could drive this to California and just sit at 120 the whole time, getting 20.
Well, that would be the dream right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that car.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yep.
Something about a Porsche, dude. Something about it. All right, guys. Well, and in 2007, 140K was probably more like 190. So it's all things considered, dude. You get a lot of equipment.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, good choices. We had some great picks this week, and it's good.
Thanks, Lars. Yeah,
thanks, Lars.
Well, thanks for joining the commongear.com podcast. Remember, the Common Gear is your ultimate source for digital record keeping of your enthusiast or classic vehicle, where we expect you'll see 10 to 20% higher sale prices when it comes time to sell if your car has a digital paper trail of the maintenance and improvements you've made to it while it's been in your care. So check out the commongear.com today for a free account. John and Lars, thank you as always for joining this conversation. It's always very interesting, always very compelling, and although we didn't fight as much as we normally do, I'm sure that is not far in the distant future. So if I don't talk to you, have a great Thanksgiving, and I'm sure we'll reconvene shortly thereafter.
Cheers, man. Cheers, everyone.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.